Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So we continue. Yes. So the Rav Wolbe has introduced to us another level of expression, or a way of expression of Da'at, which is Adinut HaNefesh. And this we learn from the Midrash in Vayikra Rabbah, and the behavior of Moshe Rabbeinu, that even though he had all the reason in the world to feel like he is entitled to a certain privilege in the relationship he had with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he did not think this way, and actually the opposite. Yes, he didn't see any particularity or in his or privilege in his relationship, and that came due to what is called adinut hanefesh nifla'a. Yes, a level of sensitivity and respect, and essentially anava. Yes, humility, that he was not seeing in everything that he has done for Am Yisrael on behalf of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as important, or putting him, in a pole position, or in a freedom of behavior to enter the Mishkan as he pleases.
Right.
נביא כאן עוד דבר נפלא שכתב רבנו מסלנט. נוחה עדן באור ישראל in סימן למן. Yes, he's going to bring a limud from Rabbi Israel Salanter. והנה שני מיני תיקון היצר המה. There are two types of תיקון of the יצר. האחד יתקן כוחות הנפשיות, אשר לא יחשפו רק הטוב הנדרש על פי שכל הישר. One תיקון is to mold your instinct, so that eventually your instinct is aligned with the sechel hayashar. So you now instinctively will do what the intellect would tell you to do. Yes, and this is one tikkun. This tikkun is essentially the most basic tikkun of a person, and the reason why there is an importance in fixing that issue is that, as we mentioned originally, yes, and it's based on the Mama Chazal, the Ran in the Rashot brings it, Kadam Yud Gimel Shana Yetzerat Hara LeYetzerat Tov. Yes, Chachamim tell us that the Yetzerah is 13 years older than the Yetzerat Tov.
Oh, I never heard that before.
Okay, it's Mama Chazal. It's a Meforash b'Chazal. So says the Ran that Ma Pshat Bezeh is that when a person is born, he's born with an instinct, yes, and he identifies himself through his instinct, and that's how the person grows. So for 13 years, yes, his identity is forged through his instinctive behavior. At the age of 13, machloket chachamim, or there's enough of da'at that now he becomes a bar da'at, okay, and he becomes a bar mitzvah. Another opinion is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mashtil. At that moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu infuses men with the da'at. So whether it's just there's now enough da'at to become a bar da'at, or he now gets the da'at, but at the age of 13 years old, the person becomes a bar da'at, a bar mitzvah. That's why he is responsible to do the mitzvot. But at this point, there is a how can I say, a discrepancy, yes, between what he is used to do and how he is used to behave, and the core that he's using to behave, which is the instinct, versus now using his da'at. Yes, and the tikkun that we're doing when Rabbi Israel Salant is talking about of the kochot nafshiot, to align the instinct with the da'at, essentially is to come and tell us that you have to mold your instinctive behavior so that it now, whatever koach you're born with, is perfectly aligned with what your da'at dictates.
We're talking about instinct with da'at as opposed to impulsivity without da'at.
Well, instinct is impulsivity, right? Yes. A
Right.
person, ideally, what do you want? You want to be able to behave a certain way without having to think about it, right? And knowing that if you would need to think about it, that your behavior will be aligned with it. For example, how do you know how you have to work on a midah or not? Yes, you you evaluate what is my instinct telling me to do. You didn't do it yet, yes? You didn't do, but in every situation there's an impulsive reaction. So you assess the situation. What is my impulse telling me to do? That's number one. Then what is my da'at telling me to do? The
Right.
delta between the two and the par between the two is the tikkun that needs to be done. So if there's a big gap between the two, then you have to work on it, and it's a big tikkun that you have to do, and it's almost aligned. Then you know that it's a small tikkun. That's the first. That's the first tikkun hayetzer that Rabbi Israel Misalant is talking about.
Mhm.
והשני, להעלותם למדרגה נסעה למעלה מאת אשר יקיף שכל האנושי. וכמעט כל יסוד מידת הענווה, which according to רבי יהושע בן לוי, גדולה מכולם, היא בחינה למעלה משכל האנושי. So, the second level of the tikkun, says Rabbi Yerucham, says Rabbi Israel Misalant, is to now, once you have aligned your instinct with your da'at, is to elevate both of them, yes, to a level where they are all under the sole service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and nothing else, right? Because your kohot, you could use them for your personal interest. Your da'at, you can use it for your personal interest, right? But to be able to elevate it all to the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with an absolute and unconditional emunah, this avodah yields and and reveals what is called anava, because the anava essentially זה למעלה מן השכל. When you think about it, yes, there is no logic to anava. Or you own or you don't, or you know or you don't. It's very binary. Yes, it's black or white. נכון or not? Are you strong or you're not strong? Do you know? Are you an excellent doctor or you're not an excellent doctor? And there's no parshanut here. You understand? So how can you ask from somebody that's excelling in something to be anav? He's excelling. You understand? Right? You understand? So to recognize that as good as you are and as successful as you are, at the end of the day, it's all coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is why you are humble. This requires an emunah, right?
Yeah,
A belief. That belief is lemala min hasechel. Nachon?
absolutely. It defies logic because
It defies logic.
you're connecting to the greatest thing, but it's humbling you. It's not making you feel greater.
That's right. So essentially, you cannot reveal anava if you don't have emunah, because you might think you're anav, but at the end you're not. Maybe you're not as great as you think, and that's why you're anav. You understand? People hide behind those fake traits and so-called midot. But in reality, what is Rabbi Israel Misalant revealing to us? That in order to be an Anav, you have to be first aligning yourself with your Da'at, okay? In order to now be in control of yourself, to now understand where do you really belong in your life. Now you have a real assessment of how good or not you are. To now be able to elevate yourself through emunah to the level of anava. That is the hidush of Rabbi Israel Misalant. וצריך להבין את הענווה. היא בחינה למעלה משכל האנושי. Right?
Yeah.
אם הענווה היא הבחינה למעלה מן השכל האנושי, right? If the anava is above intellect, נמצא שהשכל אינו מחייב להיות ענב. Like we just said, that means that logically, there's no reason to be ענב. ואם כן, מה מחייב את הענבה? So what is מחייב the ענבה? What triggers the ענבה? בזה אנחנו מגיעים לסוד הדעת, שהיא הבחינה למעלה מהשכל האנושי, והיא המחייבת הענבה. The דעת is what opens a person to the gates of ענבה, of humility. אמרנו כבר במבוא כי הדעת היא כוח הגבוה ביותר בנשמתנו. We said that the דעת is the most powerful כוח that we have. הנשמה מקורה נעלם מנשימת פיו יתברך, כדברי הנפש החיים. And we know that we're getting our neshama from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. מן דנפח מדי לנפח, right?
Yeah.
מה שהנשמה מקבלת ממקורה הנעלם, נמצא בפנימיות הנשמה, right? So the neshama comes down, and it comes with a koach, with an essence. And that essence is sitting, residing at the most central place of the neshama, in its pnimiut, ashasham mekorat da'at, which is from where the da'at is born. ואם לא יבין שהנשמה במקור שלה בגובה מרומים היא נכנעת לפני בוראה. Now, the neshama itself, yes, it came from where? From the world of the neshamot. נכון? מקורה בקודש. Now, the neshama, originally, by nature, by essence, it's all anava, because it's facing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the relationship, yes, and correlation the neshama has with HaKadosh Baruch Hu from its inception,
Yeah.
is anava. והכנעה זאת נכנסת לפנימיות הדעת בצורת הענבה. So if the neshama, by default, yes, in her interaction with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all anava and cannot be anything else. It cannot be anything else, because you have gilui of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is unbuffered, unobstructed, right? You have midat emet in the neshama that knows exactly what the neshama is. There's no sheker. So by default, in the relationship between the neshama and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that interaction, there can only be anava.
But before we said it, you need to have emunah.
רק שנייה. Yes or no? So now, if the neshama comes down, and we have identified that the neshama is da'at, so where does the da'at reside?
The da'at always resided in the neshama.
In the neshama. So, and where is now the anava? Also in the da'at.
Yeah, also inside the da'at, it has to be revealed in the right way.
If the essence is the neshama, and the da'at is the expression of the neshama, so the expression of the da'at is anava.
Anava. Got it.
Now, in order to reveal that anava, you need da'at. And that, okay, is what allows you to rise above the sechel.
Okay.
And that, so essentially, what gives you the emunah to reveal that expression of da'at, which is called anava? The da'at.
It's almost like like an onion, and the way it expresses itself from the center and the different layers that come out.
Ken, meaning like this. You have the neshama. The essence of the neshama,
Yeah.
comes down, yes, with
Yes.
what? With clarity of what it is, and its relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That can only be Anav. It cannot be anything else. Yes? Now that neshama comes into a body. How does that neshama expresses itself? Through Da'at. Yes? So the only way you can know if you're actually expressing and developing your Da'at is if you have Anava. Yes? Anything else wouldn't be Anava and would not be, that is not Anava, wouldn't be Da'at.
Where does emunah fit in that equation?
That's the Da'at. The Da'at, because you would think that Da'at is Sechel. It's not. It's the ability to translate intellect, yes, and now and turn it and not translate it, but now relate it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Right.
It's that point of connection between your assessment and your hakara of where you belong and Borei Olam.
Right.
Think about it. What is Simat Lev? Simat Lev is an extra sensitive behavior that essentially, by default, what does it get you to? To recognize Borei Olam. That's what we said earlier, no?
Yes.
Nachon or not?
Right.
That the more you have da'at, and the more you can see kol haneshama talelka. So
Right.
the da'at is what? It's the bridge. It's also the bridge between the midat ha'emet and the sechel and Kudsha B'richu and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where the emunah kicks in.
This is all from Rav Yisrael Misalant.
That's Rabbi Israel Misalant.
Right. Wow.
Tov.
Okay. Sweet. Short. Too short. Even if it was 1 hour, it's too short. But very sweet. And you have someone to be with now also, right?
כן, I have another חברותה now.
Rabbi, thank you.
באהבה.
Yom Tov.